All right, okay, well look, welcome everybody to the meeting number 1254 on this day of remembrance, the 11th of the 11th, 2024, and if you've been watching TV at all or looking at the news, you'll notice that as part of the remembrance survey, the remembrance ceremony in Canberra, the Governor-General announced the new recipient of a Victoria Cross for Australia. Did everyone see that in the news?
Yeah.
And he is not that many awarded for the Vietnam War, but he's now posthumously awarded for an act of great valour in Vietnam, and unfortunately is posthumous because although he survived the war, he came home and
wondering why it was so
joined the
dark.
police force and had a motor accident.
Oh, he didn't have the light.
Didn't have the light.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get this out of
Anyway,
you,
his former wife received the medal for the family.
I've got the kettle.
And, so yes, that's always solitary on the Remembrance Day, you know, and Poppy Day and all of that. Anyway, moving on. So, welcome our visitor from Canada, and hope you have a happy time looking around. As you see, this is very much a numismatic library here, and of which Jim's very proud. And he's, you know, it'd be nice to be able to spend a few days in here just reading through some of it, but never get the chance. Now, we have apologies from Les Carlisle, Joe Detling, Marie Brode, Robert Tonard, Jamie Hughes, George Petridis and Philip Miller. Also Tony Hall, Colin Fishborg and Frank and Grant. I'll show you. So, the general business, the next meeting is on Sunday the 15th at Chatswood at the RSL, a regular venue in the morning, 10:45. And because it's the end of the year, it's a display competition, so those of you who can attend, bring a display with you and be prepared to talk about it. The Society auction, 57, will close on Wednesday, the 15th of January, so another company, 15th of January, yes. We had a very interesting, as many of you know, because it turned up there, we had a coin fair at Hurstville, was it only last month?
On the 19th and 20th of last month.
Yeah, only last month, and the ANS members helped with the entrance and organisation and so on and welcoming, and for that we earned ourselves a small fee, which will go into the general coffers and spend for a good cause, I'm sure. And but anyway, it was absolutely packed, and as you might have heard, people queuing around the block for stuff that's produced by the Australian Mint, all bright and bright and shiny, so on. There's going to be a big market for that, and nevertheless, it was crowded, and even the main floor where the dealers were and all of that, it's pretty hard to get a seat sometimes. Have a look at what they had. Now, we are going to pause at this point for just to open our annual general meeting. I hope it make it quick, but a couple of things we need to do. So I'll just run past them, then we'll start at the beginning. The Treasurer's report and other reports. All as far as making sure the council is here, everybody on the council is happy to continue, except of course we haven't heard from the secretary, Matthew, who's not been contacted, so he's probably on holidays. But apart from
until
that,
he says otherwise, he's going to be secretary.
that's right. But I must say, before we go, just to check with the Treasurer's report and things, is there anybody who feels that they could spend some time on the council?
I'm struggling between here and Newcastle.
I know, not easy. All right,
It's all done online.
Just bear it in mind that something can help.
Okay.
All right, so Treasurer's report, right?
Yeah, I'll just hand it out. Just pass that down. 1, 2, 3. And we'll take one and hand the other two down. This is our financial statement as at the 30th of June. So the bottom line as at the 30th of June, profit and loss, our balance was $62,405.97. So financially we're doing okay. Luckily, now that we meet here and we meet at Chatswood RSL, we really don't have to pay for location for where we have our meetings, which is quite handy. Now that the interest rate has gone back up from 0.25% to 4-point-something%, all our term deposits are doing much better. The 0.25% wasn't a very good return on the money, and as a result, all the money we had in our check account, as our term deposits mature, any spare money we add to it when we renew it. And our term deposits currently, we have 6 of them, and they're all in for 11 months because that gives us the best rate of best interest rate, which was 4.7%, and it just dropped to 4.65%, but that's still better than 0.25. We have another term deposit maturing on the 17th of this month, which happens to be a Sunday. So on the 18th of this month, Tony and I will go down to Westpac and we'll add another $1,000 to it, which we've got in our current account, and bring it up to 12,000, and we'll renew it for 11 months at 4.65%, which is quite good. I try to get them to renew it with the interest paid on a monthly basis, which is what they offer, but a couple of times they've renewed it with the interest paid on maturity. We can live with that. One other thing is that with good housekeeping and looking towards the future, which does not look that wonderful because we're all getting old. Currently, Tony Hoare and myself are the 2 signatories on our check account and all the term deposits. Later on this month, we're adding David as the 3rd signatory, so that if anything happens to Tony or myself, David and whoever can then countersign the checks or instruct Westpac as what's going on. It's quite handy because Westpac had a revamp recently where they said, know your customer, and they quizzed us and we had to answer 1 million questions, and they said, okay, now we want the minutes, and I said, we don't have minutes, it's all online, you can read all the reports online, there's no minutes. He said, oh. I said, well, we need your president's signature. Luckily, I mean, David lives in Robertson, you know, it's what, a 4-hour drive from here?
2 hour drive.
Yeah. And
Long enough.
yeah, it's a long way.
So you've driven in today from there?
No, well, the wife sings in a choir in Sydney the same day, and so she drive me in together and drop me off here.
Yeah, so so it's quite handy because David was a Westpac customer, so his signature was already on their files, even though it wasn't on at the Barrow branch, but it is now.
Normal one is
Yeah.
plain code.
So
That's history.
David being a Westpac, banking with Westpac, and Tony banks with Westpac, A&S banks with Westpac, it's quite convenient. So, you know, if anything happens to Tony and myself that, you know, we're not able to assist, we say, Dave, come in, we'll meet in at Martin Place in the city, we're making a convenient time to meet at the Westpac in Martin Place and sort out whatever needs to be done, which would work out quite well. So that's just looking at one precaution. But I'm sort of looking at another precaution as to what are you guys going to do if I can't do it?
Well, that's an interesting question. Don't go.
At the And Affair, I had a chat with Frank and said, be prepared. You know, you're the vice president and you attend meetings and all that, that you guys might have to start looking after things. But I'm healthy now,
Stay healthy.
and I hope I've got years to go.
Yeah,
But-
me too.
You know, we don't know what the future is. With your Canadian members, do you have any younger members, or are they all pretty old?
No, we've actually got quite a few. One of the things that we do, and I was going to ask you, is that we have done a big thing on what we like with our clubs. We call them the coinivores, sort of half dinosaur, half coin, and we have classes for them once a month, and they're introduced at the coin shows where maybe their parents bring them in. We tell them all about the classes that we offer. Same thing in Edmonton. We have classes, I think both sides, not every Saturday, but say the second or third Saturday of the month. And so we invite the parents to come in with the children, and we've been getting an amazing turnout. We had to stop for a while, of course, during COVID, but we have the membership, the family membership for, again, $20 covers everything. So we get them coming out, we get them participating in the shows, they'll help at one of the booths maybe, or do some running around. But we've got them as young as 6 years old. But it's all because we've started this when we do the coin shows. And I'm not sure how many coin shows does your organization do a year?
We only go to the Ander show, the one we had last month.
Okay, and that's it. And
There's also a dealer's show about 3 times a week at Petersham.
Four times a year.
There are other
Yeah.
sponsorship, yes.
There is a coin fair.
Okay, and how big is it? Is it strictly dealers, or is it
It's
also...
stamp and coin dealers. It's
Stamp.
all collectibles.
Oh, okay. See, and I mentioned this earlier to a few of you that
It's Ross Bretley. I'll get up.
with my friend Tom and I, we don't like to be called dealers because we are not. We are collector traders. We'll go there. Our extras that we get from collections that we buy to supplement our collections, we sell off at the shows. And there are a few other people like that too. So the large percentage of our show is dealers, but there are a few of us that are collector traders.
That's a good idea. Good classification. I like the name.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid the customer has grown in Australia. I think that you have to make a decision. You're either a collector or you're a dealer.
Yeah.
And you know, that seems to be the way. And it might be fostered by the ANDA, which stands for Australian
Numismatic Dealers Association.
Association. You know.
Yeah,
You sort of got to be a member of that to get a stand at the show. Sorry.
Okay, you see, we don't have to, I can't even think of it right now. I should have brought my magazine. We do have an organization like that in Canada, which also protects the client. So if something
Yeah,
goes wrong,
yeah.
But with myself and my show partner, and say the other people, no, we don't belong because we don't have a shop, or well, even if the ones that don't have a shop,
it doesn't
we're
matter.
not actively going out to try and sell coins. People will approach us at the shows and say, do you buy collections? And we always qualify by saying, only if you have things that are of interest to
You
us that we
collect.
can add to our collection. But if it's just to get rid of it, a bunch of stuff, we don't want it just to put on our table. We want things that we can add to our collection. And as I say, my big thing has switched to sovereigns, but I still primarily old Canadian banknotes, Mexican banknotes. I don't really collect US, although I've got some. And there's certain countries from overseas that I'll collect because of, say, my travels years ago. But the rest of the stuff, it's extras, so I don't want it. You know, sitting there, that's money that's tied up, so you want to get rid of it. But so I as I say, I qualify. I'm a collector trader, not a dealer. And it's something that maybe maybe you can do it for your shows here. I'm not sure what your laws or bylaws are, whether it will allow you to do that, but get in there and look at educating the youngers. Like at these shows, do you get any of the younger generation coming?
We tend to
There's
get
rural
this.
at that end of it.
At the fair, there's always a big queue for new products, modern mint products, often not
The
circulating
bright and shiny
stuff.
Yeah.
There's a queue, and the queue, mother and fathers often with kids in hand, they shuffle down the queue to that counter only, they buy what they want, and straight out the door.
You
Don't
see,
even look around to see what other people are selling.
one of the things that my buddy and I, and say about another 3 or 4 of the collector traders do, especially my buddy and I, we have a basket where I call it where you have a bargain bin, where the children will go looking, but we also, when we see the young children, we have a bunch of old product that we don't want. Maybe it's worth $2 or $3, $5, even $10, and we say, here you go, here you go, here you go. And then we'll tell them the stories about the history of that coin. And what I say to them is, try and imagine how many hands has that coin gone through. Think about it, traveling around the world. And are you a member of our coinivores? And they'll say, what is that? So I'll explain. And it's amazing the response we get. And then even the parents too. In a lot of cases, the parents aren't necessarily collectors, but they've heard about it and they just want to come and see what you've got there. The mint product, yes, it sells, but they are not coming at our shows. Typically, they're not coming necessarily to buy the shiny stuff. They're coming there to learn
You've
about
got a choice of two.
Thank you. Come down here.
Lindy, welcome.
Thank you.
Oops,
My apologies for
haven't missed anything yet, but we've just been.
You want to go to the usual corner?
And
Ross down here.
you won't be able to see there without twisting your neck under
Go ahead, here, Ross. Pop in there,
Anyway,
There's another one.
we might
corner.
now that we've.
Or you can go next to John, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
Lindy, we get you to sign the book.
Sorry, thanks.
They're the notes I'm going to talk about.
You ready to go, Jim?
Sorry.
Jim, you ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Well, look, I'm
I'll
now
hand
going
this
to
back to you, Rod.
invite. I'm going to close the AGM. I think we've finished that, and I'm going to invite Jim to show us the highlights of what their auction 137, which is coming up at the last week in November. Am I right?
It's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty.
Today's Monday, the 11th.
Yeah.
The sale starts on Monday the 20th.
Okay, so that's right. This is about the last week in November. Not quite, maybe a bit earlier.
The auction proper starts in the library on the Tuesday. So it's quite a long sale. I kept the e-sale down a bit. I thought, well, I'd rather be in control in the room, looking at things. So I'll start with the catalogue. That's it there. If anybody wants a catalogue, we've got them freely available, even though they cost me $50 each to print. We do sell them occasionally. Want a pancake sundae. But most of you get it in the mail. Anybody who needs one? You need one?
No, I'll take one.
Yeah.
I'll get it later.
Yep. Okay. There's plenty.
You want me to go and get
Yeah. They want to have. They're on the counter there.
on the counter?
They're heavy to carry.
Yeah, they
If
are.
you need a bag, to carry
I've
it
got
in.
a bag.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Is it almost coming up?
Just.
John.
You want?
Okay.
Ross has got one.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've got one.
So the sale commences with the e-sale, which has got militaria in it mostly, and a lot of interesting stuff. Then the 9:30 on the Tuesday morning, we start with miscellaneous Australian coins, where you can get a lot of bargains. We hope mixed lots. Then we go into misstrikes, and this is the first of the coins I'm going to show tonight. It's a misstruck 1919 penny. Looks pretty normal there, but it's a reverse brockage. So the other side is the negative image of the reverse. That means a coin's got jammed in the die in the press between the dies and stayed there, so the next blank that came in got struck against it. So a reverse brockage. So that's estimated at $1,250, and it was from sale 126.
Very nice.
So
I like brockages.
yeah,
A full brockage. Very
yeah,
nice.
yeah. And an early date.
Yeah.
The next coin, sorry, yeah, I'll do it. The next coin is a very badly off-centre misstruck halfpenny, 1921. It's a lovely condition for a coin of that period. Traces of mint red there under the letters of the king's name. This one is estimated at 1,500 and comes from sale 37, which goes back a fair way, and sale 126. So if you can pick it up for the estimate of 1,500, you're getting it for about half what the bloke paid for it when he bought it in sale 126. So you really have to be canny and research these things.
That bit looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Looks
It's
as if
amazing.
it still has mint luster.
Yeah, exactly. I think you should buy it, Rod. I don't know what you're doing with your money, but I'm not getting any of it. Now,
Yeah.
the next one, somebody got in change. I said, no, I can get you a good price for that. It's a 10 cents of probably 1966. It's a full reverse brockage, just like the 1919 penny. Beautiful example. Nice deep stripe, you know, something special. I know over the years handling these things, I think that's the first one I've had like that. There are other interesting misstrikes in the section. The next one is
Will you take 10 cents for it?
oh yes, sure. Actually the estimate's 1,500. Graham, you can afford that. I'll see you in the auction, Graham. At least you do attend the auction. Attend every session, would you? We'll give you a glass of water. 410 is the lot, which are 2 cents 1975 struck on a 1 cent blank. So, you know, quite nice condition. There's only, that's out of sale 126, it's only $200 estimate. Maybe there's a few more of those in existence. This is a 10 cents struck on a 5 cent blank. As far as we can tell, because the weight of the coin is 2.83 grams. It's unusual, and chap found it years ago in circulation. He was telling me he got it in very late to me, but I got it in for him. The photo leaves a bit desired, but we did have trouble with production of the catalogue with a new IT person and one thing or another. Okay, that's the end of the misstrikes. Then it goes on to mint rolls, Perth mint issues. The next session is Australian proof decimal coins, and then the fourth session is decimal coins. There's a lot of gold in those sessions, so and they usually sell out. 99% sell.
These are koalas and things.
Yes, and other things. I haven't got a kilo gold coin this time. I wish I did. But,
nuggets?
I
Oh, I
got-
did see 2 nuggets in there, but they look rather small.
yeah, I've got some natural nuggets and things. Now, well, the fifth session goes into historical metals, and I thought I'd show this example of the cessation of transportation. It's when they struck a medal to celebrate the fact that they were not transporting convicts anymore to the colonies, particularly Tasmania. This was made for Tasmania. It says Tasmania founded in 1803. The cessation ceased in 1853. It's in white metal. It's in mint condition. I just can't understand what the little black carbon spots are. It must have been stored in something that gave it that effect. But it's virtually untouched, which is unusual for a white metal medal. You know, it's probably sat in some museum drawer somewhere or something, who knows where. But there are 2 examples. They fill the page in the catalogue. I thought, spending money on those. At any rate, lucky owners. They look good.
What are they estimated at?
300 each. Not a lot for a piece of history.
No.
I thought I'd show you. One gentleman gave me some gold medals, and he rang me up to say this one's not 9 carat, it's 15 carat. So I put it as a correction. That's why I thought I'd show you tonight, in case you were chasing it. It's the Agricultural Society of Victoria, and their medals are normally in 15 carat stamped, but this one's not stamped. It's by Stokes. So Stokes and Martin. Dated 1898. It weighs 22 grams. Anyway, the estimate was 1100, but I put it up to 1500.
Is that the price of gold, is it?
Yeah, it's virtually just the price of gold. That's the trouble with all these things. Gold's so high now, it supersedes the historical interest or value. I think this one's interesting. The next one, a gold medal, belongs to another person. It's a 782. It's a centenary of an Irish hero, Robert Emmet, an Irish rebel. He was born in 1778 in Dublin. It's very unusual to get it in gold. There's a bit of weight in it. It's 6.82 or 15 carat. It's actually stamped 15 carat. It's estimated at only 600. Bargain. That really is a bargain. At 80 bucks a gram, you've got $500 or $600 worth of gold there. There you can see the stamp underneath the legend where it says Marta, underneath that 15C, 15 carat. Has anybody seen that medal before? See?
Nope.
Melbourne, 103. So that's a good one.
We'll have to get our member John Kennedy interested. He collects Irish.
The next one here is a Tweed Heads Regatta rowing medal. I like rowing medals because they used to have oars on them, and this one does too. But there you are, Tweed Heads Regatta, single scull handicap, won by T.A. Ninnis in 1913, 15 carat again. That's estimated at $1,000, weighs 11.7 grams. Ninnis was also captain of the Tweed Heads and Coolangatta Surf Club, for those who are interested. It says as a footnote. The gold fobs are proving popular because of the gold value. They're selling for respectable prices. Have a lot of gold fobs, you have a lot. It's like having a lot of sovereigns or half sovereigns. It's at lot 790. He's been given to me by a man who's disabled. I've had it in twice before. This time I hope to sell it. He wanted a ridiculous reserve of 3,000, but I've got it down to 2,400 now. It may go. There's 4 medals in it. It's for cycling, and it's Dulwich Hill Bicycle Club, and then it's by W. Kerr, who was a great cyclist himself. I don't know why I got keen on collecting cycling medals, but I've cured myself. I'm getting too old to be bothered with collecting things, you end up with too much stuff. But cycling, Fred Dobbin got me inspired too on cycling medals. He sold me a few that he had. Remember Fred Dobbin?
Certainly do. But I don't remember Fred ever on a bicycle.
No. I used to ride a bike once too, to school every day. Don't do it now. Now that's quite a nice piece. 4 medals for 2,400, so they're about 600 each. Yeah. If you see me buying it, stop me. Sometimes you can't help yourself at auctions. Just all his name and everything there. So that completes that little section of historic medals. Then we move on to Australian and New Zealand token, tradesman's token, and this is lot 845, and it's a William Allen Jamboree penny.
It's not too far away from my place, down the hill.
Really?
Oh yeah, Jamboree's. It'd take me 20 minutes to get to Jamboree from Now, you've got to go. It's in the lowlands, you know.
Yeah.
We're up in the highlands. Lovely little village.
Yeah, well, they're all made by Thornthwaite. One for his brother in Kiama, John Allen, and this one, William Allen.
Well,
It's the one that turns up more. But they were rejected by them. They said to Thornthwaite, not good enough. And so he ended up, the story is, passing them off as change at the Annandale tollkeeper. Thornthwaite was had to get his money back somehow, I suppose. But it's weakly struck, but it's very interesting crude colonial style, a very rare token, and it's $6,000 the estimate. So David, that's one for you to pick up. Local interest.
if I did, it'd be the beginning of my token collection, and I'm a bit long in the tooth to do that. Still, local. Maybe I'll wait till you get a Kiama and get a pair, eh?
Yeah. Well, I did get one for Doug Moran. It cost him $45,000 years ago.
Kiama's much rarer, but
Yeah, that was a nice one. Incredible. You had to have it. He was very persuasive. I said, if you want it before the auction, you're going to have to pay a crazy price. So I did warn him, but he still did it. That collection's still intact with his son. He was a big family, but he died. So this one's, I just thought I'd show, this is one of the tokens in this consignment of tokens that the gentleman who was known as the Osborne collection in sale 43, way back in 1993. And these are some of the ones from that collection that she either didn't sell or bought back or whatever. But that's a nice mint one of Lipman Levy, who was Wellington, New Zealand, but it has the Taylor London design of Australia seated figure on the reverse, which is a sort of an anachronism or a curiosity. I went to mule Australia with New Zealand. I don't think Kiwis would be happy with that.
They can buy it back.
Did you see the Australia side? You did show that, did you? Yeah.
Jim, in general, is there a big demand for tokens here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, they're very strong. I've sold most of the good collections. That Jamboree penny I was showing you, I remember going to an auction in 1962, and now former President Gilbert Heide, and this is going back decades and decades, back to 1962. He paid £400 for one, which was a fortune then.
That's $800.
Yeah.
But that's
Like you could buy
in the
At that
60s
time.
when
you could buy a holy dollar for about at that time you could buy a holy dollar for probably about £100.
I see you got one in here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a Thornthwaite again who made the Jamboree penny. He made his own threepence in 1854. You can see he was a bit of an amateurish artist in a way, but a very nice, interesting, curious colonial style. Sydney, New South Wales, 1854. And on the other side, he like all great engravers, he put his initials, JCT, and you know who did it. He only made £5 of these. So if you work out how many threepence are in a pound and multiply by 5, you've got the mintage. This again comes from the Osborne collection.
That was 1854. That was the year before the Sydney Mint started striking sovereigns, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we move on then to chap brought in a lot of his stuff. He's moving, downsizing, and he brought in. I started going through his coins. Simon found this German New Guinea. I thought he had nothing in coins, and this was a German New Guinea 5 mark he had, which I put 1500 on. It's in nice condition, toned. Minted in Berlin for the German New Guinea company.
Bird of Paradise.
The Bird of Paradise, one of the most beautiful designs ever put on a coin. Spread feathers on a branch. The gold coins are popular. You can get the 20 mark now for about 140,000. The last one went for in Conker's sale. Proof. So that's a crown size coin. Then we move on to the sixth session, which commences at 7:30 on the Tuesday evening with proclamation coins. And I've decided to show Brazil 6,400 Ries or half Joanna, 1785.
Maria and Pedro.
Peter and Maria,
Yeah.
minted in Rio with the R mint mark under the busts towards the front, not above the date or beside the date. And that comes from David G.L. Warland's collection. So David's deaccessioning some of his coins. So he's always been passionate about proclamation coins and gold coins.
And Alexander the Great.
Yes. So
I like proclamation coins.
the coat of arms of Brazil, Portugal. The British issued a spade guinea which got into Governor King's proclamation. This is not from David's collection, it's a nice one, 1798, got 920, estimated at $1,000. Well struck, extremely fine. On this particular card, for the next lot, we have East India Company Bengal Presidency mohair, gold mohair, and David's written down £1 17 and 6, which is what it was
Proclaimed to be.
claimed. Well, that's what proclaimed to be that circulation value.
That's East India Company?
Yeah,
That looks more Arabic.
yeah, it is Arabic. They used Arabic writing, but it's from the British Bengal Presidency, Mashudabad style. Yeah.
I don't
And
think
that figure 19 there is a fixed year for 1793.
I have to correct you, Jim. It's not Arabic, it's Farsi.
Or Farsi.
Persian.
Is it?
Yeah, Persian, yeah. Not, well, I call them all Arabs, but you know. It's easy then.
Surest condition. Beautiful point.
Yeah. So that's estimated at 1,500.
No restrike.
No. You can't get restrikes of that. This is a Mexico 8 escudos, piece of 8, 1798, in nice condition. Got a bit of a scratch behind the bust, low down. I don't know. Simon's mentioned it. I got him to do these. David came up unusual, coming to visit us, and I got him to give me some of his gold coins because I wasn't just happy having a few of his Greek silver. Actually, Greek silver. So we got about 25 grams worth of gold coins. They should do well.
Yes. Mexico Mint.
I've got a lot of pieces of 8 in silver, 8 reals, pillar type and portrait types.
The
From
Dutch.
Barry McGowan Scott's collection. This is a ducat, gold ducat of the Netherlands, Holland province, 1781. It's quite nice condition. Estimate is 900. So that's more than its gold value. After we've sold the proclamation coins, which run for quite a few lots, we move on to holy dollars and dumps, and that's just a heading we use in every auction. But we've got a holy dollar that has been very well stamped. It's showing New South Wales 1813 there, which is the A die. There's an A and a B die, and that's very well stamped countermate. The other side's even better because it's the portrait of the coin, the king, and if you turn it a bit, you can see the king upright, the king's head upright. Turn the king's head, the card around a bit if you can.
Nice.
You have to twist the card
Nice.
around.
Nice 5 shillings.
Yeah, just see a diagonal like that. Yeah, that's better. You can see you can see the king's eye. I like that when you can see the king's eye. Well, it's more pleasing to look at. The eye appeal's better. I think I've got someone interested in it. He's inheriting some money. So hopefully it'll come good
Are
in
people
time.
more interested in the countermark or the house coin?
Oh no, not the host coin. No, it's the countermark.
Countermark, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
beautifully struck countermark. You know, you can see the detail of the H of Henschel in that. It's not easy to see in that particular angle, but it's there, and I pointed that out. So that's only 150,000. Now, the person who owns that was able to buy it from a Spink auction back in 1997 in London. So I don't know how I missed it, but her father was a great coin collector in Custer Creek, so I knew him, and I know her. That's why she came to me with it. But, it's a great honour to have a coin
What
like
was
that.
paid then? How much was paid then?
I think £13,000.
Probably equivalent.
Yeah, well, we were selling holy dollars for $20,000-$30,000. In 1988, I had the best holy dollar collection of all time to sell, and I couldn't sell them. And bicentennial celebrations in March, when I published the book with Bill Myra, Paul Worth's collection was known. They wouldn't go. Money can be tight at times. The New South Wales 15 pence, this is quite a well stamped one. It's got a couple of defects after being minted by people cutting it or scratching it or something. I called it old cut at the top of the obverse and 3 slight rim bruises, well struck, good very fine. Well, it's only got an estimate of 12,000. I mean, it's a bargain at that, isn't it?
12k.
Nice condition.
That's one you
Yeah.
should get, Rodney. You need to have one of these.
I do. If my lottery ticket wins on Thursday night, who knows?
Yeah.
Big if.
Well, if I knew enough people, I could know every lottery winner, couldn't I? If I knew enough people. Advertise. Well, if you win the lottery, come and see me. So, this Adelaide pound's got an interesting history. Chap brought it in and I'd forgotten. I thought he didn't have any good coins left except the 1930 pennies he's saving for his kids and grandkids. But I didn't know he had this Adelaide pound. Anyway, it was out of sale 11. He obtained it. And it was offered in sale 89 but didn't go with an estimate of 40. And I didn't realise that when I was receiving him. I received him for 10,000 on it, and I decided to put it up to 15 estimate. So it's a good bargain. Barry Windsor called in the other day, and he's interested in that Adelaide pound. Maybe he's got a client. Maybe. It was good to see Barry, who's a Vietnam veteran, still carrying shrapnel around. He was in the Battle of Long Tan.
Right.
And he's about 83 now. Lives down Shell Harbour way down
Still dabbling in gold sovereigns?
some lake place down there. No, I think he's retired really
retired,
from it. He'd have his hand in a few things. He did tell me he's still got the 2 Adelaide ingots, which he knows I've never handled apart from having them at Spinks. One of them, but you know, he's teasing me with that. And the next coin is a Port Phillip coin from the original dies. Not a forgery, but from the original dies. Probably smooth at Stokes' factory. Probably 1919 at gilt 3 strike. It was sold by the Rare Coin Company. I'd love to see the original sell price they put on it. Anyway, it's in for 2,000. The venture didn't really succeed. But their idea was to get gold and convert it into a token or coin form. Pure Australian gold. All the famous collections have had examples of these, or one or two collections have had a set. The British Museum got their set from the manager of the Kangaroo office back in the 1860s or 70s, I think. They've still got it, which is a good set to measure others by. Same.
If it was gold, how much?
An original one. An original one.
Mm.
Oh,
$500,000.
$500,000 to $1 million. I'd say. I mean, the Adelaide ingots Barry values at $1 million plus each. But you know, who's got that sort of money? Only billionaires.
1856.
1855, Rodney.
55, is it?
Yeah. Don't scare me now. Catalogue's printed.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
It's my cataract.
This is also from Sale 11, the same chap as the Adelaide pound. So it's only estimated at 5,000. Yeah. Graham, please attend the auction and put your hand up. Not just for a bread token. Okay, this is getting into the after the gold, which we've seen many times, different Australian gold coins. This is a, I might have done this out of order there. I should have a bloody fly. This is the one I wanted to show you first. This one. This is a specimen, Melbourne Centenary florin. It's beautifully struck. It's an incredibly sharp strike. I've got it in the proof section. I've got a proof coin which is graded proof 62, but this is so sharp. I don't know whether you can see the nipple on the breast of the rider and the sharp wreath, but normally you can. It's been bought from Klaus Ford. Specimen rare, he's got no price on it. God knows what was paid, but I put 5,000 on it.
Yep, you can see the nipple.
Yeah, it's a great piece, that one. I mean, I've had lots of centenary florins, and I once sold one like this, estimate 300, and went for 14,000 in one of our auctions. And the Tasmanian vendor was in the other day up visiting his daughter, and he was reminding me about it. An exciting auction it was. Complete surprise.
That's the first one I've ever seen with the nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the criterion, is it?
Well, there you go, Rodney. That's the coin to buy.
Yes, it certainly is.
Then we move on to some florins.
36.
Keep an eye on the time. Going too slowly as usual.
1918H.
M.
M.
1918 M, Rodney.
Right.
From Melbourne. Beautiful mint condition. Full mint bloom. Cartwheeling mint bloom, I said. Gorgeous coin. Anyway.
It is. Condition is wonderful.
I'll put some more with me. If you think that one was good, have a look at the next one, which is a 1921. The choice uncirculated. Quite a scarce year. Nice obverse, well struck. 3,500 this one. Bargain. Klaus charged the bloke 10,750. And he's passed on, and the vendor is accepting our valuations. You know. So I'm giving you ANS members a big chance here.
I remember I was speaking with Klaus, and he was always saying, well, if he didn't get his price, he didn't care because this was his superannuation.
Yeah,
What date was that one?
1921. But we're only custodians of these things.
Yeah.
The coins stay and go to other hands, but we all eventually go. Even me. I will go one day. I hope not for a long time because I've got too much to do.
It is nice to see them even if you don't own them.
Yep.
Here's another question
We'll,
for you, Jim.
we'll remember you anyway.
No, I'll be waiting to watch all you go.
Yeah, with this, and this is, I'll ask to everyone here, with the 1921, a friend and I, we have a coin that might be a 1921 50-cent Canadian piece. If it is, it's worth several $1,000s. But the problem is, the one is worn off.
Oh,
And under extreme magnification, I can just sort of make the edge of it to know that it's not a wide O or zero.
so yeah.
But it's trying to get that certified by BCGS. Do you know of any tricks, or does anyone here know any tricks of how to bring up the date? I was told to put it in a freezer and then pull it out.
Just let the experts look at it.
Yeah,
They'll tell you whether it's a 21 or not, whether they can
but
determine it or
it's
not.
so worn.
You know, I once sold a specimen, 21, 50 cent, in the auction. I think it went for quite a lot, about 80,000. I think.
Right now, I know that if it's worn, it can be proven. It's actually worth more than, say, an EF or an AU in value because of being worn.
Not to me.
People, it's amazing. There are collectors in Canada that
Right.
will go crazy on worn valuable coins, and they'll pay premium prices. And there was one that was just in about a G2 that sold, should have been for maybe about 2,000 or 3,000, sold for over 40,000 in a G2 condition.
David G would have been able to fix it up.
Yeah. 1090 is the 1930 penny, and this one's graded as very fine, or better, and it's got a part centre diamond and 6 pearls. So it's sharp on the obverse, and it hasn't got nicks or dings or anything, so it's estimated at 18,000. It comes with a letter signed by Jack Jocelyn at the Mint in 1978. So the man who's died, his family have got this collection, has had this coin a long time. It's probably worth 25,000, that coin. But I won't prejudge it. I hope that it goes well. Certainly deserves to in that condition.
Nice coin.
The next coin I'm going to show is a 1931 drop 1 penny Indian die, which is unusually sharp on the obverse as well. It's good VF, and I reckon it's one of the finest known of that type. And it's the last one I've got from a man who bought several of them, mostly through M.R. Roberts over the years. And this is a really good example. And I've put only 2,500 on it. It's rarer than a 1930 penny. Yeah, it's quite sharp, isn't it? It looks good.
Doesn't make EF.
Oh, well, some people would call it that because it's got the 7th and 8th pearls are fused, so I refrain from calling it EF. But that's the high point of the coin, of course. It's the first thing that wears. Yeah, that's the end of the Australian coins, and that session completes the night. And the next morning we sell some gold ingots and miscellaneous items. There's a natural ingot, and there's pocket watches, and then we go on to some sovereigns, lots of sovereigns. And then the next session at 11:30's got Australian Commonwealth. And then after that we go on to the Mark Friel banknotes, which I'll come to later after I finish the coins. So that when we go past the Mark Friel collection, we come up to the 11th session, which is held in the evening at 7:30, and we'll start with a gold angel of Edward the Fourth, which is a touch piece because it's been old, and it's from David Warland's collection, and it was previously in Laurie Sherwin's collection. So David bought it recently from our auction, came out of a Spink London sale. So these were given by the monarch to make people heal people. Touching ceremony by the monarch.
What period?
That's 1471 to
1742.
yeah. Actually, the date of the mint mark is 1472 to 1473. So you better buy that. It's clear, isn't it? I mean, you can see the angel clearly there.
English collectors will want it.
Yeah, I think I
So,
like that.
For the ones with the holes in the area or less rare than the...
Well, I think they're rarer. In the case of Edward the Fourth, I think they're rarer probably. I mean, obviously, some touch pieces are very expensive. But Edward the Fourth was a big mintage of angels. Different mint marks. But later on, they got to make their own designed touch coins. Became quite an industry. Because my first name's William, I've got to show you this William the Fourth sovereign, 1837. It's in virtually uncirculated condition. I might have got carried away just grabbing it. It's the way the light shines on it. David Warland's coin again. A lot of mint bloom. A lot of mint bloom on the reverse. They're coins that wear very quickly. Okay, I'm taking too long, I think. I've timed myself another quarter of an hour or so. I have to go quickly. That's 1790. Sorry, 1750 is a £5 of the Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. That's 1887.
It's a £5 piece, isn't it?
Yep, £5. That's really quite nice.
Estimate?
5,000. That's 5 sovereigns. For those who don't realise it.
That'd be an ounce of gold almost, must be more.
More.
Actually. Bit more, yeah.
Yeah. 1 1/4 ounces.
Four and a quarter sovereigns an ounce in it, so.
Yeah, 1 1/4 ounces.
Yeah.
It's like a Mexican 50 pesos. So
36 grams of gold.
the next one is the first British silver crown. Edward VI, 1551. Quite a reasonable example, showing a clear date.
Yeah.
King on his horse. The Boy King, mint mark Y, which is the first mint mark. 30.54 grams. Now the next coin very clear on that side. Nice toning. The next coin is a Charles I Civil War coin, a silver 20 shillings or £1 from Oxford Mint, 1642. Weighs 119.84 grams or 120 grams.
Is that the equivalent of a troy pound?
Probably. It's well, 120 grams is certainly.
The calculator to do any more than that. I got a half
It's
pound.
under 4 ounces.
Quite pleased.
Estimate is $15,000, which is a bargain for you. It's from the Spink Numismatic Circular in 1978, and the man who bought it for his daughter who was born that year. And who do you think came and gave it to me across the counter? She did. Had it all these years. So that's a nice story, that one. Nice gift for a child. And the Motka piece brought £14,000 from the same dyes. This is a nice silver crown of Queen Anne after the union with Scotland, 1713, roses and plumes on the reverse, but quite a good sharp coin. Bought from Seabees in 1983. I remember buying one that had been bought from Spinks, I think, for £5.
Busy reverse.
In the 1940s. So, anyway, it's a nice coin. Estimate's quite high, 3,500. That's a good example. English coins are very popular and strong, as you know. We are a British colony, remember that. Someone gave me a collection of pennies, and I thought I'd pick out the 1827 because I got two other consignments of 1827 penny, which is the really rare date, but they were sent to Tasmania. That's why they're rare in England. This chap has quite a nice collection of pennies, and we've illustrated a lot of them, but that's the 1827, which is estimated at £4.50. I've regarded it as nearly very fine.
So why were they sent to Tasmania?
I don't know, they just obviously...
They ran out of pennies.
They probably thought there was an urgent need to get some pennies to... And they had enough in England, because the 1826 was a big mintage. There was 1825, which was a smaller mintage, and then 1826, huge mintage. They probably had more than enough in London, in England, so they sent a couple of barrels out to by ship to Tassie.
1827, I mean, Tasmania was entirely a convict colony at that point, wasn't it?
Well, they had soldiers and people there, and things were developing, stores, there were business people. It wasn't that primitive, David.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't primitive, but it was the height of,
yeah.
you know.
Well, that was how that was the business.
And Port Macquarie and all that.
Yeah,
things
convicts
going
were. That's what the whole place was about. Free settling was difficult.
Still called Van Diemen's Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the highlights of the English section is a Gothic crown, which happens to be an 1853 from the 1853 proof sets. Probably this one. It's quite dark toned, which you get in the plush cases. I've got an estimate of 20,000 on it. It's quite brilliant on the reverse. I think they always lovingly polish the fields either side of the portrait. But the reverse is quite brilliant when you get it in the right light. All the complicated design with the lettering, very ornate. Or Gothic. See the date, Rodney? Up the top it is, upside down, so if you turn the coin around, you'd see the date in Roman numerals 1853. It's got a lettered edge. I wonder how many have been passed off as 1847s. The MD, CCC, what's the next thing? L111.
Yeah.
L's 50.
1853.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a coin worth buying, Jack. You can take it back to Canada with you if you hurry. Scottish countermark, series. I used to own this, and I don't know. We had a bad photo in the catalogue. because we lost the image or something went wrong. I had the photograph and it's very dark. It's lot number,
1874.
yeah, I'm going past it here. Oh yeah, it's very dark in the catalogue, but it's actually quite a nice piece. It comes from Fred Kingston. Colin Pitchfork got it and he exchanged it with me in 1966, and it was in my sale 58 in 1998. 21 coins of this denomination are known. Delphi Cottonwork in Perthshire, Deanston, John Buchanan's. Harry Manville did such fabulous research on all these things. Anyway, it's a bargain at $9.50. Fred Kingston used to have a little stall beside a staircase in a building towards Railway Square in George Street. I used to meet Colin there on an odd occasion, but he went there from the beginning. This medal I sold to a friend at the time from Tom May's collection, sale 99. It's the naval victory against Holland, because he's a yachty and he loves anything with ships on it, so they had a beautiful ship on the reverse. And it's estimated at 2,000, which is what he paid for it back in sale 99, so bid up strongly, gentlemen. Give him a treat. It's a lovely piece. Big silver medallion. Rodney will show you the other reverse and see how gorgeous it is. And of course, it was designed by J. Routier
Where was it minted?
in the UK.
That's where the Dutch invaded up the Thames or something, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1665.
1665.
Were they listed in
Who was it? Admiral
Yes.
de Ruyter, wasn't it?
Yes, that's, of course. Yep.
That was the middle of the Great Plague too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, because I know there's a lot of Greeks amongst us, there usually is, this is a Greek gold coin, which I've already had a bid on. 20 drachma of Otto, 1833.
What was the date? Sorry, 18?
33. The date's there in the reverse, you can see it. 20 drachma. That's the reverse. I think I told Vivi, mount them showing the date. She's mounted the reverse up there. It's okay. You can turn the flip thing over and see it. Nice portrait.
It's German.
Yeah. They did
what
strike
was it?
some coins in Munich. They did strike some coins for him in Munich.
1974 is lot number.
I thought I'd show you an unusual gold piece, lot 2018. It's from Vietnam Republic, Kim Than. A pure fine gold wafer ingot, 13.65 grams, which is part of the tail system. So the tail was about 37 grams, so you've got two of these and a part of one to make a tail of gold. This is an intact one. Estimate's 1,500. Non-pen there. So you should buy these. Hammered gold, David. Would you believe it's in the unusual World Coins copy of Krauss, XB1. Typed RM instead of KM. I didn't notice that mistake. God damn it. You notice these things? Because I handwrite and they type my writing. Typed RM instead of KM. Anyway, that's okay. There'll never be a perfect
So
catalogue.
what's the gold quantity?
Well, the weight in it is 13.65 grams.
But is it pure gold?
Yes.
Says so.
Yeah. fine gold.
I mean, I don't know about .999, but
Yeah, it would be. It'd be right up there. It'd be almost perfectly pure. But, not.
what sort of, does it date from though?
It's not ancient. It's fairly modern. 1960, about 1960. We go on to some Chinese coins, and I'm going to try and show you coins that I'm sure are genuine.
1960, we couldn't, it was illegal for people to own gold then, wasn't it, here?
This is Vietnam.
Yeah, okay.
They were merchants. I suppose they traded gold, dealt with it. 2054 is a Kwangtung province silver 20 cents, 1890 to 1908. It's from an old collection, and you might remember I did have a Kwangtung 50 cents, which we estimated at I think 50,000. It sold for 250,000. Yeah, about 2-3 sales back. So that's in nice condition. It caught one of my collector's eye. From the same old collection is a genuine birds over junk dollar, which at one time weren't too expensive, but they've gone crazy now. Lot number 2063. Estimate 16,000. I'm gradually beating the owner down. Had 25,000 on it before. I mean, like the Chinese economy, the Chinese coin market can vary. Yeah, I'm going to show you a coin that could be one of Rodney's favourites. From Hong Kong.
263.
The same gentleman who had the
Hong Kong dollar.
had the German New Guinea coin, he had this Hong Kong dollar. I said to Simon, that's a good example. Yeah, we'll get 1,500 for that.
67 or 68?
66.
66, wow.
Nice grade though, Rodney.
Yep.
Really nice. I've got a 67 in the sale too, which another chap gave me. And I put 750 on it, but our photo's not very good. I don't know. We had a couple of problems with photos. But I did want to get the catalogue out in time. I proved the proof on Monday afternoon, and I physically picked the catalogues up on Friday. They rang me at 11 and said they're ready. So, pretty amazing, isn't it? What can be done? And that meant we could get it all sorted over the weekend and picked up by Australia Post. And people got it on the Tuesday. So it's a week ago now. Is it seems like years ago. It's a week ago.
I was surprised how early my catalogue turned up.
Yeah. Particularly since we were doing it with people who had never done it before. I mean, my IT guy, Yanni's turned out to be really good.
It's a nice stall.
Yeah, it's one for you to buy. Don't be so miserable. Buy coins.
I might have sold it, Jim.
I don't think so. Not that one.
I sold some nice coins,
Yes,
Hong
you
Kong
did.
coins in your
Yeah, you did. Beautiful collection.
Sarawak.
It's a nice
Australia.
Sarawak.
Sarawak, yeah.
Yeah, but it's listed on its own because of its condition. But the chap's collections in our beautiful Dansko albums, and he's got Sarawak, British North Borneo, and Strait Settlements in the Dansko album. So you've got to look at those album lots. They're beautiful. But I separate this one out. It's too expensive to just leave in the album. It's worth putting on its own. It's a lovely piece. Well, I meant to show you West Indies coin. I didn't get it out. Never mind. Sorry to keep us up.
No, Jim.
Now, the war medal section, I am going to show you something, but only one war medal group in a little while.
The VC.
Yeah, Rodney's put his bag on top of it. Don't worry. In the war medal section, there's this medal which is for HMAS Sydney. Sydney, Citizen Sydney, to Captain Collins in 1940 for sinking the Bartolomeo Colleone, wasn't it? Lot 2394. I'll look it up for you. It's got an interesting edge rendering because some guys got it. It says it was presented to dignitaries, this particular one. On the edge it says, the captain, each officer and each member of ship's company received one of these, 11th, the 2nd, 41. But it was the action of in shooting the Bartolomeo Colleone, an Italian ship.
Who struck them?
Amors. By Amors. Carlisle 1940/2. You got to get that one, Ross. Exciting, eh? It's getting you going, isn't all this? Yeah.
1941, that was when the Sydney was sunk, was it?
It was some.
The second Sydney. I
Yeah,
think it's the second Sydney.
yeah. The Sydney sank the Emden, didn't it?
That was World War
But
One.
it also
Yeah,
received
in
its
1914.
But there was one sunk. There was another version sunk in the Second World War too. That was
Yeah.
going to
Cormorant or
Gerald-
something,
In
was it?
Geraldton, they got a big memorial for it.
Yeah,
Cormorant, yeah.
Cormoran, whatever it was. So that's, I'm getting up to, there's not so many ancient coins, except I'll show you one that a chap gave us, a really nice example of a seculopunic tetradrachm, which is estimated at 4,000, and it's noted by Jenkins that there are only 4 examples of this particular variety, and they're all in public collections. So it's a very interesting coin. It's from a C&G auction. The man who bought it is needed to sell it. I gave him an advance, and he lives interstate. Single consignment. Should sell all right, that one.
Lovely.
Is that the horse head slightly off centre? Is that meant to be a palm tree behind the head of the horse?
Yeah.
Usually it is, yeah.
So this is.
Although that looks like the mane, doesn't it, of the horse? The palm tree.
I'm pretty sure it's a palm tree.
You need to study it, David, and let me know. 2995 is a David Warren coin of King of Thrace, Lysimachus, a portrait of a Magnesia on the Meander mint, the head of Alexander to the right, eye looking forwards. So it's a lovely coin. Estimate's only 1800. It was previously in the C&G auction. Giving them a bit of advertising, aren't I? Hope they're watching. This goes on YouTube, by the way, Jack. Tomorrow or the next day. So people all around the world, collectors in England or whatever, can see it. They'll get to know you, Jack. They've heard your voice. They'll get to know you. Canadian visitor. This next one is a nice tetradrachm Rhodes mint, and it was from Roman Numismatics, that famous numismatic firm which was involved in that scandal about pedigrees. A nice example. David Wallen's collection again. Well, that's the end of the coins. So now I've tipped over the banknotes, treating them with disrespect. Box.
I'll just move my bag.
What I'm going to do is put these back. And get the banknotes up here. Oops, did I not do with it over again? Oh, you want to show that? Yep. Well, members of the Ancient Numismatic Society have seen this in a couple of meetings. And when Dan Kieran brought it in, he had to get it out of the War Memorial. He's 41 years old. It's a Victoria Cross for Australia. And that's the group as it's court mounted for the display at the War Memorial. And since then, in 2022, he got the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal, and then he got in 2023 Prince King Charles and Queen Camilla's Coronation Medal. And they come in their own little boxes and they haven't been mounted
He
with
got
us.
them because he was a VC recipient.
See you later, George.
How about George?
Can someone let him out?
We're going to let him out.
So this group is very special. It's one in Afghanistan in 2010. He was a member of the Royal Australian Regiment. It's the only such award to the Royal Australian Regiment. And the first one ever to come on the market. And he's selling it. I said the first thing the media will ask, why are you selling? And you've got to tell them the truth, and it's because he wants to get a bigger house. And he said he was invested with the medal in Government House in 2012. He slept at Government House that night and he put it into the War Memorial the next morning. So it's interesting the way these things go. But it's a very important award. He works in the defence industry for a company called Thales, and he's an expert on the Bushmasters. He worked in Western Australia in the mining industry. He's done a lot. He's a ranger. He's a redhead like my kids. I could adopt him. Yeah.
Well, I looked up the Bushmasters. They're supposed to be owned by a Dutch company.
I wouldn't be surprised. Those Dutch have got their fingers in everything, even in petrol, Ross. Still, which I buy religiously. Why? Who knows? But there it is. It's a dark metal, and the modern metals are very polished. Spinks have looked at it. Marcus Bugden from Spinks was here, viewed it, and Chris Miller-Hill from Noonan's viewed it, two big London firms dealing with war metals. And I said, get Lord Ashcroft a bid on it. He has to leave it here, he can't take it out of the country. So that'd be good if we got a bit of competition, it would drive the price higher. But they all resist it. We'll, on the day, we'll wait and see what happens on the day. So make sure you're there, Graham, and Mark, in the room at 2:30. Yeah, I could give you a bit, couldn't I? You want to put your hand up?
You take phone bids.
Well, it'd only be a deposit on his house.
My wife would kill me.
Well,
Range for that, Jim? What's
the estimate's 1,250,000.
really?
Last year we sold a World War II posthumously awarded Victoria Cross group, very important, famous, to a bloke called Jack French, and it went for 1.5 million, plus the buys for him, so
Yeah.
1.8 million.
But you have the restriction that you can't take it out of the country.
That's right, it's a category A item, under no circumstances can it leave.
Yeah.
But, you know, whoever buys it has got a treasure, they've got it's best displayed in the War Memorial.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do, hide it in your drawer at home? It's at risk there. But, you know, it's a fabulous, he's been in different theatres of war. He's been in Timor, in Afghanistan, in Iraq. He's been in all those battles. So that's the highlight. That's why it's on the front cover. There's a nice photo of him in the catalogue, which is courtesy of the Australian War Memorial. Good picture of him. It looks to be a bit out of focus, but I don't know how you focused it.
So how many of your You got Victoria Cross have you had over the years?
Oh, I've had quite a
Quite
few.
a few, yeah.
I started in 1983. I had 2 in that sale when I had a good collection in, and then I've had them over the years. And I've also been instrumental in directing a couple into the War Memorial, like one from a bloke called Albert Jacker.
Oh, yeah.
I was wanting to sell it, but in the end I said, oh well, better off if you give it to the War Memorial.
Were you aware that Peter Fitzsimons?
Yeah, he's written a book on him,
Jack,
yeah. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Peter Fitzsimons went to school with John Pettit, and when John Pettit launched his book, Peter Fitzsimons was the bloke who launched it. You remember that?
It's
With Ed Dower.
It's from up our way.
Yeah. He went to the Knox School. Yeah.
And you didn't realise there was one awarded today.
Yes, I heard about it earlier. They said one had been announced as a posthumous award for Vietnam. Probably Barry Windsor, eh? I didn't hear who it was.
Young 19-year-old
Yeah, wow.
at the time.
He died in a motorbike accident in Canberra.
Yeah, for the Canberra Police.
Wow. Oh, thank you, Rodney. So we'll get on to the banknotes if we've got time, because John Manukas is here and he'll be disappointed if I don't do the banknotes.
I like to see Mark's banknotes.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd pick out the things
How
that
did you get to
that are
the
interesting.
Loving this time?
You put it back
are,
there.
yeah, just put
There weren't very many of us.
Pardon?
There weren't very many of us.
Yeah, I wanted to come, but I was jiggered.
Now, the banknotes marks is this time I've listed some more Pacific Island stuff and Burma and Ceylon, but the dominant collection is Fiji, which is in the session number. I've got to tell you the session. It starts at 2:30 on the Wednesday, 2:30, and then the next lot starts at 4:30. So there's a lot of lots. So the first one I'm showing you is very interesting. It's a little place called Thursday Island in the Torres Strait. £5. So how many of those you guys had in your collections?
Well, I've been to Thursday Island.
Have you really?
Yeah, lined up there
Wow.
in the post office and got
I tried to get there on my trip, and they
I sailed
changed
past
the
it.
ferry schedule for that day. It was not running. So upset.
Oh, well, you can get them note instead.
Yeah.
Those Burnsville.
Yeah, so these notes were very restricted. Obviously, they were needed in trade at the time.
Were they issued though?
Yes, I believe so. But they've probably all been cashed in, destroyed. These are from the Burnsville archive. That's why they've got the toning from the frame being framed. I've got to go and look at a hoard of gold at the vault that is in the Burnsville building for a finance place. There's not much gold, but it'll be a challenge for me. I'll tell you about it later, Ross. So that one that you just looked at before was issued the manager at Vila in the New Hebrides, which is and through the Bank of North Queensland. This one's
Samurai.
British New Guinea, remember, and it's Samurai, a town there, and it's a lovely specimen note. Probably not from the archive.
Has it got watermark paper?
I don't know, Ross. It could be. But
It's hard to see.
it's not. It's a specimen because you can see the numbers there. And there's no imprint. These ones have got an imprint. These ones, the Burnsville ones are W.E. Smith of Sydney, and then the later ones are S.T. Lee. Here's W.E. Smith again at Port Moresby, British New Guinea, Port Moresby. I'm showing you these because you'll never see them otherwise.
The paper didn't survive up there much at all anyway.
No. I mean, it's a fabulous collection of these things.
Where'd Mark come from?
Well, he would have bought some out of the archive sale, he would have swapped, who knows where he gets them. A lot of things, because he had
They
to
use
store.
the back as
Yes, of the quantity they needed to print.
yeah.
Thought that was interesting. I quoted that and showed in the catalogue, the back of the note. They're plain otherwise. This is the, again, it's one for the Pacific Islands issue, for the Solomons, the Gilbert, Ellice and other groups. So, Gilbert and Ellice Islands, that's the one that, part of New Hebrides or something, is it?
Gilbert and Ellice is now Tuvalu and
Kiribati, isn't it?
Tuvalu,
yeah,
yes.
Kiribati and Tuvalu.
So this is referring to those islands, and this is, I don't think it's dated, but it's very late 19th century. Early 20th.
Gilbert and Ellice, where the Battle of Tarawa was.
This is the start of the Fiji. It's a nice example of a treasury note for $1, dated 1871, 16th of November, 1871. It's been cancelled in ink across the signatures, but it's a good full note. Early note of Fiji. He's got quite a few different styles of the early notes. They issued quite a lot of paper money in both in the Vuka and Suva. I mean, it's there was a king, of course.
Kakadu Rex.
Yeah, this is one coming up now at 25 cents. Baka kakama, I can't say it, but it means a fractional note. 25 cents. I thought it was in nice condition. 1873, isn't it, Rodney? Yep.
Yeah, looks like three.
C is the name of the Fijian king, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Kakabau Rex.
I can remember,
This is. I'll just show this as it is, but this is a set of 5 specimen treasury notes going from $1 through to $50. Very special set. I think I put 5,000 on it. And the imprint down there is S.T. Lee and Company, Sydney. There are examples of some early Fiji notes in the Dixon and Mitchell collection, the only other place where I've seen a lot of them. And there was a book written by Kerry Rogers and a girl called Cantrell. First name I forgot. I put the references where I could from that book, published by the IBNS in 1989. You familiar with that, John Manukas? What have you been doing all your life?
They're collecting grease.
Don't you?
That's right.
Oh, that's endless, collecting grease. This is the Banking and Commercial Company Limited, £1, but the interesting thing about it is it's actually an issued note. No, I don't know if there's any others around that are issued. It's dated 1870 something, is it? Probably can't see it. The day probably didn't get written in very
Maybe it
well.
wasn't filled in. Maybe you expected.
Yeah, it's signed though, and serial numbered. So whereas the ones that were found from a guy in Auckland, this one, and they're from the original plates as proofs, and it's got an Auckland imprint, hasn't it? Down the bottom there. This issued note doesn't have the imprint. Isn't that interesting? It's got an imprint there. Does it? Can't tell. You know, when you're cataloguing these things and you haven't seen them, and there's so much information you can glean from them, and you should put down to record for posterity. I realise with the time restrictions, I just don't have time. And people say, well, why didn't you say this? We'll do as much as I can. This is very rare. Fiji Currency Company. I mean, there's 2 notes in the collection. This is the best one, $1. I've never seen I haven't seen them over at the Mitchell Library either.
You have to remind me, Jim, did Fiji actually have dollar coins and fractionals?
No.
No.
No coins.
So it was just notional paper?
Just the British coins came in 1934.
Yeah.
The British Empire, Fiji, with the Emperor, the King.
So what would have been a reference to American dollars or Spanish dollars, do you think?
They did go on to, I think because it's like the Hawaiian thing.
Okay.
Hawaii had dollars at 883. But this predates them. These are the
Fiji's
1870s.
fairly close to Samoa. Would it be American Samoa then or German
I
Samoa?
don't know. It's a good question.
Probably.
A good question. Worth researching, members. I want the answer next week.
Fiji probably used
You just go
English,
find Mark's
English
notes.
coinage.
Yeah, well,
He was going to write a book.
I've got a storage unit. I've got to go. Yeah, he's going to write it. Oh, yeah, I know. I will uncover what I can because I paid for him to do research in archives. Instead of him helping me, he was messing around in archives in the Pacific, particularly Fiji and Tonga. It's interesting that Brewer and Joski's that size, and that's for $0.25, and this is for $0.50. Look at the size; it's a fraction of the size. What happened? The paper inflation or shortage? What happened? This one's dated 1871. That one's dated 1873. So they were running short of paper.
They were
thought
in
that's a
advance
curiosity.
of the Royal Australian Mint.
I mean, you
Making
never
the $2 smaller than the one.
You never see the. Look at this thing. This is Loma Loma, Wynyard Islands, Fiji. So how many people have been to Loma Loma?
So that's an issue to him.
Yeah. I mean, a great piece, isn't it? Oh, you've got to get into these, Ross. I mean, mucking around with postal notes, you've got to get into all this stuff, honestly.
I was at the
Mark has
Banknote
probably
Society
been there.
meeting. I was at the Banknote Society meeting yesterday, and somebody had the catalogue, this catalogue here, and we looked at all Mark's collection, and the comment was he had all this stuff and he never showed any of us any of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he did show things from time to time when he gave talks. He got things out. But, you know, you've got
But he
to...
never brought anything to the meetings or anything nothing like that.
He put a display on it. That's right.
He had so much.
Yeah. And
He really
stored for
had
safety.
so much.
He did.
He stored stuff here and he stored stuff in the bank. Anyway, one day I'll write the story about it all. I should live long enough. You know, there are notes he's got here that I gave him very early in the piece because he was working for me. I had to sell them to him cheap. $70, $50, you know, things that are worth a lot now.
So there were perks for working here. There were perks for working
Well,
here.
for Mark, he was a special collector doing to do the Fred Pridmore of British Commonwealth banknotes. That one, by the way, we just saw, Rodney, is Levuka Ovalu in Fiji, 1869, which is very early date, and it's got a proof behind it as well. This one, I remember these turning up with a family. I think one turned up in Christie's, and I got one, and I think I gave that to Mark, let him have it. But it was in the early 1970s, and it's a nice one showing a couple of king's heads there.
So the last two, what are you going to look at for your reserve on those?
I think they're 2,000 each. They're There was a very big collector in Canada, he's still there, Bill Barrett, famous Canadian collector of banknotes. He'd be liking looking at these. He's older than me a little
Did
bit.
you ever go to the fun show in Florida?
No,
Okay.
I haven't had the opportunity to travel that much. But
I was going to ask you if you came across Robert Pocatello.
no.
Okay.
1435 is a Fiji 10 shillings, a non-portrait type for the government of Fiji. Thought I'd show that's nice condition. 1926. Will soon be finished. It's 9:15. I'll have to race through these, Rodney. Eh?
Who was the Canadian dealer that lived in Vancouver that came out?
Well, Barrett was in Montreal.
He's still in the IBS.
I'm not thinking of Joe.
No,
What's here?
say his name on
That's a nice early £1, 1917.
that.
See, these are better than postal notes, Ross.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
And funnily enough, they're cheaper.
Well, they're more common than postal notes.
No, they're not.
Well, you haven't got a lot of the postal notes.
You haven't seen the Fiji postal note yet? Teasing you.
With Mark, you never know.
That's the Portrait George V series, 1935. Isn't that a lovely high denomination? £10. You know, in Fiji, something like that wouldn't survive if it was handled. It had to be put away. It's so humid and things get crumpled up, and they're not that interested in notes. Most of the people that live there are the natives. But there were a few bureaucrats and people with businesses that would need high denomination notes. This is a £20 of George VI. Ed Dow's interested in Fiji notes. I'm hoping to get his bids. He was collecting Fiji. That's just a celebration, the cannon going off over the harbour or something.
Oh, what it is?
They do it occasionally, little fireworks or something. Probably to do with
Oh, it's
Armistice Day.
Armistice, yeah.
I think they're showing.
The war
They're
started.
showing
The red poppies on
poppies
the
on the Opera House
Opera
tonight.
House, yeah.
They showed them this morning. Saw it on TV.
Thought it was supposed to be on at 8:30 though.
Well, it's 9:15.
Yeah.
They've probably been.
Maybe it's 9:30. Yeah.
It's not the Japs attacking us again, is it?
No,
That's a nice note too.
don't be saying that. Anyway, remember this is seen on YouTube worldwide. Careful what you say.
Rod goes and edits it.
Well, he tries to, but he rushes it out, unedited, and then he hears what's wrong. Like us with our catalogue. Now that's a rare denomination. During World War II, the overprint
Yeah.
for the New Zealand £5 reserve banknote. I remember Trevor buying one for umpteen thousands of those. We missed Trevor. He wanted to see Mark's collection, but he didn't make it.
Trevor.
He would have been fascinated with these. This is a fascinating item. He's got a good collection of these little emergency notes. He's got number 4 and number 3 and low serials. But this is very interesting because this is one, and actually see number 4, the 1 penny, but the guy, number 4 for the shilling on the left, number 4 for the 2 shilling. So what a set. And it's all written there by the guy, one of the issuing signatories. See the first signatory? That's him. And what's he said, Rodney, after the outlook of the
Outbreak of the
1939-45 war, the government of Fiji was
unable to obtain
Unable to obtain
coins, I
Something
think.
Copper coin.
Yeah.
Cooper nickel copper coin from the United Kingdom. The government printer Suva produced these 1 shilling, 2 shillings notes, and many hundreds of thousands were issued. The penny with the was printed in Australia. That's interesting. Whereas the other denominations, the shilling and 2 shillings. So that's a historical piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weren't they printed by the Fiji Times or something like that?
Yes, in Suva.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lovely piece. This is a lovely piece that I expect to get a bit of action on. A £20 note in extremely fine condition of Elizabeth. It's estimated at 7,500.
January 1953.
So very nice. And nice condition. And Mark did well to buy that because it's so hard to buy them. This is he had some good Fanning Islands notes, but this one intrigued me. It doesn't have the serial number on it. It has a rubber stamp 019 there, and a little bit of foxing, or whether it was moisture or something. But that's like a first issue of that note before they serially numbered them. So it's a one-off. Fanning Islands, that's the thing that's next to, in part of the Gilbert and Ellis Island group, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating story that. Now this is New Hebrides. This is from the commune, they called it, condominium.
Yep.
Condominium. Have some,
Vanuatu.
British and French.
yeah, Vanuatu. But that's an early issue. That's $1,000. That one. It's been cancelled. Very rare note.
25 francs.
Right. So this is one of Rodney's favourites, Sarawak. It's left over from the previous sale, part one. I don't know why. Whether it didn't sell, or had too much on it, or they didn't like the condition, returned it. Anything's possible.
1940, so it's Charles Viner Brook.
Mark never seemed to get the $25 notes. I don't know why, unless I find them.
The place was overrun by the Japanese, wasn't it? Yeah.
In 1941, yeah. Oh, 42 actually, yeah. It's a province of Malaysia.
I photographed the back of that note as well for the catalogue. It's a nice scene. The government of Sarawak, that's probably Government House, is it, Rodney?
Government House in Kuching. Yeah.
You've probably been there, have you?
Nope.
Do you know it? By the way, I had Bob in here yesterday. He comes in on Sundays. Has his lunch, buys his lunch, comes in by train and bus, or bus and train, and then he sits out in the kitchen with me. We have lunch and talk, and he looks at the catalogues. And I said,
You've noticed improvements with him, haven't you?
yeah, definitely.
Is he on a lot of medication?
No, I think he just takes the normal sort of stuff. The R there on the left is for Rangoon, I think. That's the idea of this note. October 1915. It's an Government of India note, but used in Burma.
Right.
That's the first of the Burma notes. It's a rare piece. You never had one, did you, Rodney?
No.
Yeah, well, Mark's only had this one, so I reckon it's pretty significant. And we've got the highlight of the Burma collection is this 100 rupees of George V. It's estimated at 6,000. I've got to be on the phone for a bit for this one. He's making sure he gets it. He normally bids online, but wants to bid on a couple of notes. This is one of them. I will try and make sure I get it for him. Can't afford to blink in these auctions. You've got to be paying attention. Oh, this is an interesting one. A man with a Sri Lankan name has already been in touch with you to say it's 1816, not 1806. He's quite right, because the issues were 1809 to 1822 or something, and it is 1816, but I don't know, I read it as 1806. And but they used dumpy coins, the government of Ceylon, parts of a Rix dollar. This was a Rix dollar. The first Rix dollar issued was in 1821, but they had a patent in 1816. So I think this is significant. It's Mark had a wonderful coin collection of Ceylon, and he has a wonderful Ceylon collection. It's probably the best in existence. And this is a really special note. I put 4,000 on it. I don't think I've ever seen another one or heard of one. This is a nice item. This is 5 rupees. I just like the early date and the condition. 1887. Colombo. Colombo was a very big trading port. Lots of things happened there. Our ships took gold coins there. They ended up hoarded in India. Sydney Mint sovereigns and everything. It was the route through to Britain from Australia. And you didn't waste a trip. You left gold then and took goods back. Look at the size of this one. 100 rupees in nice condition from 1926. Lovely big note. That was before.
Fourfold in there.
It's probably. I mean, it's not mint condition, but it's pretty good. This one's one of a set with a postcard there of the camp at Ditiwala, where they put prisoners of war from the Boer War. So they're an interesting little sideline to collecting. A lot of people like military notes and prisoner of war notes. So that's Ditiwala. How do you say it, Rodney? Prisoners of war, Yatalawa.
Yatalawa, yeah.
Unless you hear someone say it, you read it for the first time.
What's the date?
They're that time, the Boer War time. They said
Like 1920?
1900 something.
1902, 1903.
Yeah.
1902. Got a date, has it? 01, is it? So they're pretty special. This next set's the Regama camp. And there's a set there, a set of 5 in each of these lots. And then there's a Series B that came out in Regama, dated August the 1st, 1901, actually printed on the note. And it was from the Ceylon Ice and Cold Storage Company Limited. So that finishes off the Ceylon notes. It's a very big series. Drove me crazy cattle. All the modern ones are in mint condition, and you just got to look at them. Who's got time? This is a start of the night session of Australian private banknotes and pre-decimal, and that's a really exceptional little piece I got in a Tasmanian collection of bills of exchange. And I looked at it again. I thought, well, I've valued it at 500. I can't leave it at 500. It's Governor Macquarie. It's a Sydney one. Bank in New South Wales, well.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the ones that I went to. And just for your own interest, guys, I was so obsessed by them. There was about half a dozen of them. They were at a Lawson's furniture auction. And so I went to every viewing to make sure who on earth was going to look at them. And then I bought them all.
Now, they were sold by the Rare Coin Company. I'd hate to think what the price was. 20, 30,000, something like that, probably, or more. And this is a lovely one also which was in John Pettit's collection at one time, and it's what did I call it? Well, a promissory note, but he calls them shin plasters and calabashes. I think that's a calabash. He's got a terminology. By the way, Mick sent me a couple of books today. They arrived. The guy keeps publishing. It's crazy. I keep paying for them too. Why? Why? It's the 5th edition on specimen notes or something. I'll just tell you what this says. 2697. Yeah, it's a currency note. Rather than a calabash. Calabashes were ones that were issued through a bank. He's got the definition. That's a fabulous piece because it's 1822. Full note. Have you ever seen another one? It's the only one that's ever turned up. It was in sale 38. In our sale from Barrett's collection, I think. He was 36, sorry. And then it was in sale 71, which was Pettit. And Pettit's no longer with us. He didn't live to see Mark's notes in the first sale. He was going to come to the viewing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you lost Mark, Trevor and John Pettit.
Yep. So there you go. Living history for me. Having known all these people and how they got them. And, sorry I haven't got a lot of Greek notes, but maybe Mark's got a few good ones. Look out, watch this space. I'm sure he has.
Yeah, but at my age, I'm wondering whether to collect.
Well, we're here for your service, sir.
Yeah,
We'll
but
sell it all for you.
Well,
maybe
something
that.
you can't take it with you.
I know the kids have just put it in a skip.
There's a picture of everyone.
That's the problem, isn't it?
I don't
They've
think
got to
so.
understand what
I'm
they
sure
are.
they know that they're
Hey, while
valuable.
I'm here, can I get a picture of all you together? If you
Yeah.
want to sort of squeeze.
While we're here, please.
Then maybe turn off this.
I'm telling you the name of that Canadian guy.
Oh. Is that light too bright for you? No, it should be all right.
I think that's
Whoops.
all of you.
Nice of you to do this, Jack. Yeah.
I'll present it to my club.
Yeah, why not?
Let me just-
You've seen a bit of history here tonight.
Yeah, that projector is. Ron, you want to move down there? I try and. Good. Thanks.
What part of Canada are you from?
Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this guy. He's a lovely guy. You should know him. You'll know the name if I can't think of it. But when he came out here, I felt for him, and we had him over for a Sunday roast.
Yeah.
And then when we ended up over there, we travelled from Calgary over the Rockies.
Yeah.
Would it have been a Greyhound bus? Or it was a bus.
Yeah.
And he met us at the bus, took us to his unit and said, stay here as long as you like. I'm moving in with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then he came and brought a beautiful salmon and barbecued it for us. Fabulous guy.
What was that?
What was his name?
Well, I can't think of it. Bloody old age.
Not Bill Field, he's American.
No, but he's a
William-
either a director of,
Not a
of
million-
the IBNS.
William McDonald?
No,
Bill McDonald? There was
no,
a
he's
Bill
only a
McDonald.
short guy. Our age.
You'll remember it at midnight.
No, probably. Oh, I
Yeah.
could look up the IBNS journals and I'll find it.
Yeah. All right, we'll await your report.
No, but just a fabulous guy.
It's funny, sometimes the names come to you all of a sudden when you least expect it.
Oh, well, thank you.